A university of truth surely must be established for them all so that they can define the term creation as universal spirit and universal consciousness and not correlate God with the Creator God and God the Father, and learn to understand that, since time immemorial, God is only a title of a human who is advanced in wisdom. Must really all these God believers first gain the ability to recognize and to define the term creation through arduous learning? Is it actually such that the terrestrial human, through his search for religions, sectarianism, philosophies and other ideologies, finds the true path of truth and the true truth only if the world or the universe collapse around him and his ambition in regard to the belief is destroyed? Due to the belief, the human is constrained within himself, uncertainly and one-sidedly instead of many-sidedly, comprehensively and farsightedly oriented, and because he has strayed from the path of the actual truth and the teaching of life as well as the teaching of the Spirit and therewith also the creational directives and laws, he staggers, intoxicated by the belief, from one religion, sect or philosophy to another. But this is no reason for despair because, human, only look up if you are an earnest seeker of the real truth. The path to what's higher, to evolution of the consciousness, to the fulfillment of the creational laws as well as to the true life, compassion and to your inner freedom and harmony as well as to inner peace, to knowledge and to wisdom lies open before you. In order to follow the path of truth, you must become free and open, face the effective truth neutrally and without any expectations. Think about it by yourself and find the truth within yourself. You do not first have to discard your belief and be afraid of divine punishment for that, but you can, in fact, discover the truth if you are still clouded over with a belief. It is only necessary that you occupy yourself with the reality of the truth internally with your very own thoughts and feelings and seek the explanations and logical results within yourself. And if you recognize the reality of the truth within yourself, then your belief will slowly disappear, and you will devote yourself more and more to the truth and eventually detach yourself from the belief that feeds on religions, sectarianism, false philosophies and other false ideologies and can free yourself from that. Inner seeking and searching as well as inner learning is the gateway to knowledge and wisdom, to the true life as well as to inner peace, harmony and inner freedom. The teaching of the truth, the teaching of life and the teaching of creation's laws as well as the teaching of the Spirit is an all-encompassing, unique work, developed in simplicity and plainness, without religious and sectarian empty phrases, without the threat of punishment and without the constraint of praying and having to believe. Therefore, through adherence to the teaching, one does not have to struggle against fear, untruths and error, and the teaching is also not arduous and difficult to learn because it makes no demands whatsoever, as this is the case with religions and sects, etc. Only the adherence to the laws and directives demands effort and patience because the adherence signifies a fundamental change of the human in regard to his negative thoughts and feelings as well as to the removal of all bad habits, vices and qualities, etc. The contrary, as the religions, sects and philosophies convey it, is false because it is not simply, plainly an untruth but rather a blatant lie. Therefore, distance must be obtained from this, in which this distancing, however, must be voluntary and without fear. But this can happen only if the human leads himself to the truth and is fully seized by it. The human must, according to his own will and from his own reason, abandon the religious, sectarian belief because the being God as well as angels, demons, religions and sects correspond to a work of human minds and are only an unreal fragment of an unreal reality. The teaching of the truth is not arduous and exhausting, only its realization gives the human trouble, namely because he must make an effort to become a real and truthful human. He must make an effort to acquire his capabilities like tolerance, patience, love, honesty, all virtues, etc., as well as the understanding of actual reality. This means that self-knowledge and self-discipline must be translated into reality, as also modesty and all other values through which the human distinguishes himself as human. This is the arduousness but not the teaching itself, because this is simply and clearly understandable, because it corresponds to the creational natural laws to which it is imperative to adhere. And these laws are values that the consciousness can grasp even if it is bound to space and time, and it, in regard to the current evolution, still cannot comprehend eternity and infinity, but rather only exactly that which is visibly, directly connected with creation. The consciousness is not quiet in the stream of inconceivable energy and power that springs from creation and from being as well as from all beings and flows through everything consequently. It develops, evolves, and more is able to comprehend in knowledge and wisdom. From creation itself, from being and from all beings, the human consciousness draws its functioning, even the energy and its power, which are absorbed and used every second. The human thereby learns, with also his reason, to rationally and consistently comprehend and grasp everything. The human's consciousness is thus not very poor in his actions and in his understanding, as it is erroneously assumed, because it is the consciousness that evolves in truth and works its way ever higher in reason and understanding. The human must never let up in his learning and never fixate on particulars, because the path of evolution demands that a comprehensive and complete learning is pursued, in which the particulars are regarded as ascertaining factors that nevertheless must be attached to the whole. The whole consists of many particulars that must be processed individually and formed into the whole. Also, the human is actually a whole in his inner being, which nevertheless consists of many particulars that must be comprehensively processed and brought to the highest level. Certainly, this is associated with the effort of learning, because in contrast to the religious or sectarian belief, which is just thoughtlessly accepted and practiced without consideration of being right or wrong as well as without questioning, the teaching of the truth demands that the human lengthily and thoroughly deals with each and everything intellectually and emotionally in such a way till he finds the truth within himself. Religious and sectarian belief demands believing, a dormant-like, submissive bearing of the consciousness, thoughts and feelings, and a total enslavement of the consciousness. If the human has a strong will within himself and really endeavors to bestow purity on his thoughts and feelings in his search for what is higher, then he very first and foremost must look after himself, practice in self-knowledge, and change in all things that control him. So, he has not found, with the will and efforts, the path to his highest goal for a long time yet, whereby everything that he wishes in his evolution is given to him. Therefore, he must continue to steadily endeavor that everything that being a true human requires is given to him. For this neither false prophets, saviors, gurus, masters, enlightened ones and lofty ones, esoteric ones, preachers, priests and parochial powers, nor spiritual scientists, etc., are needed, but rather only one's own consciousness-related efforts through thoughts and feelings in the seeking, searching and discerning way, as well as one's own change for the better. And if the human acts in this way, then he frees himself from the pressure of all pathological brooding and from the search for the truth in false prophets, saviors and other swindlers, liars and deceivers. If the human follows the right path, which he can find only within himself, there he regains the health of his consciousness, his thoughts and feelings as well as the psyche. Human of earth, wake up and look about yourself and recognize that only you alone can open your path to yourself and make life joyful and successful for yourself. Pay no attention to the belief, but rather be uplifted by the truth. Avoid the religions and sects, the false philosophies and ideologies that preach and truths, because the fundamental truth of all things is alone contained in the creational and natural laws, and you do not find these in false teachings but alone within yourself.